Okay, we're here this evening on the memorial blowing of the trumpets. On this side of the earth, of course. On the other side of the earth, in the west, the holy day will begin once the sun go down. Okay? We're in a new season as of sundown, which brings us into what this world call the fall. All right? The scriptures calls it the 7th month, or it can be misinterpreted as the 7th moon or the new moon. But it's the 7th month. It's a new season. There's 4 new months per year, well, new moons per year that are Sabbaths. The first for the change of the spring, the second for the change of the summer, which we call summer. The first, the fourth, which is the change of summer. The 7th, which we are in now, for the change of fall, and the 10th, which is change us into what we call the winter. These are the 4 new months, which is misinterpreted in the Bible as new moons that are to be celebrated as Sabbaths on this earth. Oh, so they're included in the regular Sabbaths and the holy days. All right. Now, let's go into real quick Leviticus 23. How many verses we have here?
We have about 44 verses.
We have 44 verses, and how many?
12 men.
12? Oh, okay, that's
about 3 for each.
Okay. We're going to do the first 6 can do 3 verses per, and the last 6 can do what? 4 per. All right. So the first 6 people, let's do 3 verses. The last 6 do 4. All right. I'm starting off at Leviticus 23 and 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Most High, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest, and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Most High in all your dwellings. Now I want to make it clear when the Most High says in all your dwellings. That's crystal clear that we are supposed to follow the holy days no matter where we reside on earth. It didn't just say in Jerusalem. If it says in all your dwellings, wherever we dwell, we follow the holy days. And I'm saying this because so many people are coming up with reasons for us not to follow the holy days, and to claim that we can only follow certain holy days in the Holy Land, which is blasphemy. We've been waiting years to find the truth concerning our power, our God, and our times in connection with our God, our ceremonies connected to our God. And as soon as we find it, you have some people come up and say, well, we shouldn't do it because we're not in the land. But yet you've been following Easter, Christmas, everything you can get your hands on in paganism without question. So when it says in all of our dwellings, that means no matter where we are to acknowledge the Most High holy days. Go ahead, Lawya.
Taking 4, right?
Yeah, 4. Just 3. 3
okay,
each.
3. Okay.
Yeah.
Verse 4. These are the feasts of the Most High Ahaya, even holy convocations which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. And the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Most High Ahaya. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread.
Okay. Cool, you next, sir. We're going to take it around this way. You're going to take 7 through 10.
first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no silver or work therein. And you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days. And the 7th day is a holy convocation. You shall do no silver or work therein. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying,
You can read the 10th verse also.
Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest.
Verse 11. And ye shall wave the sheep before the whole side to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. Verse 12. And ye shall offer that day, when ye wave the sheep, and heat them without blemish of the first year, for a burnt offering to the Most High. Verse 13. The meat offering thereof shall be 2 tenth of fine flour, mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto the Most High. For the sweet savor, and the drink offering thereof shall be of wine, the 4th part of the drink.
Verse 15. You shall eat neither bread or first corn, and the green years until the 7 days that ye have brought an offering into the Most High. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in your ways. Ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering. 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath, ye shall number 50 days. Ye shall offer the new meat offering to the Most High.
Verse 17. You shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2 tent bills. Therefore they shall be of fine flour. They shall be baked with leaven. They are the first fruits unto the Most High. Verse 18. Ye shall offer with bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and 1 young bullock and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering unto the Most High, with their meat offering and their drink offering, even an offering made by fire of sweet savor unto the Most High. Verse 19. Then shall ye sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and 2 rams of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offering.
And the priest shall wave them with bread of the first fruits, wave offering before the Most High. With 2 lambs, they should be holy to the Most High for the priest. You shall proclaim yourself, saying that it may be a holy convocation to you. You shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. And when you reap the harvest of your land, they shall not make clean rivers of the corners, the reapers. And thou shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest, thou shalt leave them unto the poor, unto the stranger. I am the Most High your God. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying,
24. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, on the memorial of blowing the trumpets, a holy convocation. 25. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High. 26. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, 27. Also on the 10th day of the 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls, and offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 20.
Okay, do
Ye shall do no
4 verses.
no work in that same day. You should do no work that same day, for it is the day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before the Most High your power. For whatsoever soul it be, it shall not afflict in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people. And whatsoever soul it shall be that doeth any work in that same day, the same soul I will destroy from among his people. He shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute for your forever throughout the generations in all your dwellings.
Now, what I want you to examine real quick before we finish reading. Who's the next person reading here? Okay, you? Okay, good. It says right here, 23 and 24, the Most High spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, shall you have a Sabbath, a memorial blowing of the trumpets, and an holy convocation. That's the gathering we're having tonight. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High. And of course, we don't deal with any sacrifice, because Christ is our sacrifice. Okay? And it says right here, the 26th verse, And the Most High spoke unto Moses, saying, Also on the 10th day of the 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be an holy convocation unto you. And ye shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High. So that is a connection with the memorial of the blowing of the trumpet. It's a continual, the trumpet was a reminder of the atonement that was to come. That's the warning. The trumpet was the warning. Knowing that 10 days from now your sins will go before the Most High. That's how they coincide one after the other. So the trumpets wasn't just so someone can blow a trumpet and say that it's the memorial blowing of the trumpets. It has significance when it came to our salvation in the Old Testament. Why? For those who didn't take heed of the trumpet and didn't have time to prepare and missed the Day of Atonement, they was cut off from amongst their people. So when we look at it from the New Testament now, the trumpets in Revelations are all warnings leading up to a time in which we will get in or not get in, depending on whether or not we're hearing the sound of the trumpet and taking heed of the warning. So the Bible tells us about these holy days were a shadow for the things to come. It's a significant spirit in which we must understand the holy days of the Old Testament to know how we can apply that to our salvation today. Like I mentioned a few weeks ago, they're markers leading up to our salvation. And it's kind of tough for us now. It's more hard for us to understand it now because it wasn't embedded in our culture from birth like it was when we were in the Old Testament. We understood what the trumpets were. We understood what we needed to do to get ourselves together and snap back in shape for that year, knowing that something significant concerning whether or not we would be ever accepted again. We understood that back then. And it's more so, I would say it's more so us coming into Israel now. It's more so us taking on just a celebration culturally without understanding its significance now. We still should be taking heed to the trumpets and the warnings, knowing that we're closer to the time of our salvation than when our people were, when our fathers were under the old covenant. Right? Okay, let's take off where we left from there.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 52. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest. Ye shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even. From even unto even shall you celebrate your Sabbath. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel.
And as you can see, it says, you shall afflict your soul in what? The 9th day. That would confuse people to say, well, I thought the Day of Atonement was on the 10th day. But it's the 9th day if you count from what? The memorial blowing of the trumpets. See that? It's a full connection. It's a connection between the warning and the atonement. Read on.
Verse 33. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of this 7th month shall be the feast of Tabernacles, for 7 days unto the Most High. On the first day shall be a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High. On the 8th day shall be a holy convocation unto you. And ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High. It is a solemn assembly, and ye shall do no service for a word therein.
So as you can see, on the 15th day will be a holy convocation. And also, at the end of it, will be a holy convocation on the 8th day. We'll come together as a Sabbath for that, and come at the end of that for the Feast of Tabernacles. Read.
These are the feast of the Most High, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and a drink offering, everything on this day. Beside the Sabbath of the Most High, beside your gate, and beside all your vows, beside all your freewill offerings, which ye shall give unto the Most High. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of your life, ye shall keep the feast unto the Most High 7 days, and the first day shall be Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be Sabbath.
Okay, you can go ahead, Lawya. You can finish it out.
Which is the last verse? Which verse you stopped off at there?
Finished it,
39, verse 40. And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of fig trees, and willows of the brook. And ye shall rejoice before the Most High your power 7 days. And ye shall keep it a feast unto the Most High Ahiah 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month. Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am the Most High Ahiah, your power. And Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feast of the Most High Ahiah.
Okay, now the dwelling in booths, of course, was Israel had to leave their dwellings and go into the wilderness once a year to remind Israel of what our people went through. You understand? Now, I know everyone don't have the wherewithal to do that from year to year. Okay, from year to year, we would have to go out to commemorate or remember what our parents went through in the wilderness. And of course, a few of us did it last year. Some of us just went outside in tents, didn't want to disturb what was going on. See a bunch of people from nowhere just in the midst of somewhere with some tents. You don't want to get in trouble with authorities operating in this world. I'm saying that's because some people will take things literal and get themselves locked up. It ain't no time for that. You'll go someplace and you just know if you can do certain things. Elder Gabar, he had a campground that him and brothers went and they dealt with it like that. There is one thing about in the States, there is a lot of campground that you can actually rent out and it's marked for camping and people can't come in your space. You understand? You have a certain area that belongs to you and you don't have to worry about certain undesirable situations going on. And I'm saying this because some people be looking for grounds, and there be some serious things going on out there. And listen, this is what I'm saying. This brother over here is smiling and all that, but what I'm saying, brother, you find some things that go on out there in the open space that ain't lawful, and you out there thinking you dealing with the Most High, and it's all types of sinful activity in the booth next to you. So you understand, if you're going to do it, have a controlled environment. All right? And I'm putting this out there because I be reading the email on what people be wanting to do sometimes. And I don't want them to think that we are telling people to go out. You understand? They say they went out someplace. Next thing you know, they've been chased by someone or something like that. Make sure it's a spiritual thing in which we do it as a church. I'll be reading the email and I'm like, I didn't say do this. Somebody chased by a bear or somebody dealing with something. We must be together as a people and do it right. That's all I have to say. All right. Anyone have questions concerning the trumpets or the holy day itself? Okay. Do we have any bread? Some bread?
I got a question.
Yes.
It's not particularly with the holy day. Like this, when you count for the next one, do you count this day again for the feast of?
When it say the 15th day?
Not for the atonement. 10 days after.
No, it's on the 10th day.
Okay.
So 9 plus 1 is 10.
Okay.
So when it says the 9th day, it's actually counting from the first day. 9 plus 1, it's on the 10th day. Like this is the first day. On the 10th day is the Day of Atonement. You got it? All right. And of course, you all know we don't count from the slithers of the moon. I want to put that out there. That's the difference between us and most people that follow the holy days. They're looking at night. Hey, what's going on over there? Let me see him. Where that character at? Little cooler. What he getting restless over there? All right. Well, anyway, do we have some bread? Yeah. Some pita. Let's break up some pieces and let's do a communion real quick. Can a Nazarite, okay, don't worry about it, just break up some pieces for people. Just put it on the plate and just break it up. Can a Nazarite take communion? Christ was a Nazarite. Taking communion is not breaking a vow if you're doing a certain thing under the church, like a communion. That's not breaking a vow. Now, on your personal situation, you understand, outside of the regular communion, if you have a vow, then you keep that vow. Isn't it compulsory to have a horn to celebrate blowing of the trumpet? I don't really... One second. There go a trumpet right there. No, it's not compulsory to have someone blowing a horn on the memorial blowing of the trumpets. If someone wants to blow a horn, it's not against the Most High for that person to have a horn there. You know, and sometimes I see situations, and I've seen it in the past, where you have a holy day or a teaching, and it's so much stuff on the table, you can't even get to your Bible to actually teach and actually show the people. Horns and shofars and all that, it's totally unnecessary. You understand? Now, if you want a horn to blow a horn. But you have to realize in the Old Testament, the horn had a significance. How it was blown had a significance. The people knew what to listen for based on the times that the trumpets were blown. It's not compulsory, but it's not against the law. Many Hebrews blow the horn on the holy days, and they can do that. That's a blessing. But it have nothing to do with the holy day itself. All right? And that's why it tells us in Hebrews that, matter of fact, let's get that in Hebrews real quick, about the cardinal ordinances that was imposed on us until the time of Reformation. Hebrews 9. It goes through all the artifacts Okay, the horn now is the prophecies or the trumpets we read, the trumps that lead to the last trump in the book of Revelations. The warnings, the prophecies of those trumps. That's our shofar now. Where's the bread? You have yours? All right, good. Go ahead.
Hebrews 9:1. Then verily the covenant had also ordinances of divine service and a worldly sanctuary. For there was a tabernacle made.
There was a tabernacle made. Go ahead.
First wherein was the candlestick and the table and the showbread, which is called the sanctuary.
Go ahead.
And after the second veil, the tabernacle which is called the holiest of all, which had the golden censer and the ark of the covenant, overlaid round about with gold, wherein was the golden pot that had manna, and Aaron's rod that budded, and the tables of the covenant, and over it the cherubims of glory, shadowing the mercy seat, of which we cannot now speak particularly.
So it shows us all the artifacts that was a necessity under the old covenant, which means if someone say that the shofar is compulsory or mandatory, then you got to also go into all the other artifacts that you just don't have in front of your table. That's was a necessity or compulsory to actually do the service. So some would say you must have a shofar. Well, what about the rest of the things you needed during the priesthood? Okay, so no, it's not necessary, but if you have one, good. Okay? Read on.
Verse 10, which stood only in meats and drinks, and diverse washings and carnal ordinances.
They were carnal ordinances. Read.
Imposed on them until the time of reformation.
Until the time that those holy days would be reformed. And the ceremony on how to do those holy days would be reformed. Why? These holy days now in the New Testament became what? They became a time of communion and remembering Christ. All the holy days is in remembrance of Christ and his fulfillment. The prophecies concerning him, which is the memorial blowing of the trumpets per se. There's trumps in the New Testament. On and on and on and on. Okay? To give you some understanding. So we deal with the ceremonies, but we do it like Christ at the table with his disciples at the very end of his life. When he was given up. We're at that table. From holy day to holy day. Okay? Let's see here. All right. If someone have one other question, I'll answer this question as the last question we'll be answering this evening before we go into our meal and the celebration. The last question is, and I think I answered this before, but I'm going to make it clear. It says, is it necessary to marry under the church, under common law, or can we marry through the courts and still be recognized by the church? Now, when it comes to marriage, whether or not you do it through common law, or if you go to court and do it, that's between you and the person you're marrying. That's not unlawful one way or the other. The only thing that's required according to what we say in the church is, if you're going to marry, then you must go before the person's family, the male, the woman's family, the groom's, the bride's family, and ask the hand by the father, and if he require a dowry, you must pay it. All right? And if it's within the church, you must go to the elder within the church, and then he must be a part of that union to make sure those things are established, to be recognized as a marriage. And I'm saying that because there's so many people out there meeting online or meeting through Israelite chats or whatever the case is, and saying that they're of the gathering of Christ Church, and none of these things were instituted with any level of authority when it came to the union. So if you haven't took those steps with an elder and with actually going to the people's family and them bringing it together, family coming together, your family with their family, that's not marriage. I hope the question was answered. Down to a point where you have to ask, what's the real problem here? Because I know this scripture you're bringing is not enough for us not to be brothers anymore. This little issue right here you're talking about is not enough for us not to want to bond and get into this kingdom together. So what's the real issue? But it usually starts with someone having a personal issue with you. And then it's not the doctrine first. They'll claim it's the doctrine. But it's really an issue. And because we don't do what Christ said, it becomes bigger. What Christ said, if you have an issue with your brother or sister, you go to them alone. And if you've heard them, if that person hear you, you've gained a brother. But far too many times we have issues where people have a situation with someone and they find whatever excuse to say that they don't want to talk to the person. Or you have a person that will confront you and say, well, listen, I have an issue. But in this world, if you come to somebody and say you have an issue, you're the person with the problem. When that's the real person. The real person is a person who can go to someone and say, listen, I got an issue. And deal with it right there. And get it over with. It may be a little heat. It may be a thing where y'all going through something, but at least they know how you feel. You're not a serpent sitting there, sitting with your brother, sipping with your brother, eating with your brother with an issue. And that's the biggest situation. That's what destroyed everything when it comes to us as a nation. Since I've known what being an Israelite was. Because no matter what we're dealing with personally, it shouldn't stop us from being able to go forward as brothers and sisters. That's the devil. And I don't care what it is. Of course there are going to be issues. Brothers and sisters are going to have issues. We're going to have problems. People are going to feel certain type of ways about each other. That's just the way it is. But heresies start when someone starts having a problem against another person. Now the devil is on their shoulder, in their minds, making them think it's way bigger than it is. Like, yeah, how you doing, brother? Yeah, what's going on, brother? Yeah, everything's fine, brother, yeah. But yet they know they got an issue they can't talk to you about. That's where heresies start. And guess what? I've never seen when a heresy gets to its height, I've never seen the situation recover. I've never seen a situation which, even if they were wrong, that they came back and said, you know what? I was wrong. Let's repair this like it was before. I've never seen it ever come back together. And see, the first heresy happened when? In Scripture. Judas. It was irreparable. And the reason he hung himself, he didn't realize this one little rift would lead to his own brother, the brother he loved, death. Judas loved Christ. Don't get it confused here. Judas loved Christ, honored him, and loved him. You understand? So sometimes that love, that emotional feeling is one thing, but what can destroy that? A heresy, something you feel against your brother, something you feel against your sister, and then you see the end result of it is death. You didn't want your hand in your brother or sister's death. You didn't know it would lead to that. That's how it always starts. Somebody feeling a certain type of way, then they'll do something, not realizing that that action will lead to the downfall of their own brother. That's a heresy. So that's why Christ says, man, if you got a problem with your brother or sister, you go to them. You talk it out. Don't ever go to sleep with a problem. And that's why a lot of people may have issues with me. Because if I got an issue, I'm going to tell you right there. I'm not going to sleep tonight. Everybody know I got a problem. You know I got a problem. And that's it. I can go to sleep and feel good about it because I told you exactly what you did. And then guess what? Suppose I'm wrong in telling you that. And you say, well, listen, it wasn't that way, brother. It happened this way. And I'm like, well, I'm tripping then. I'm corrected now. But I'm not going to go to sleep feeling a certain type of way about you. And that's our problem. We always hold something as if everybody's right, I'm right, and I'm not the one that got to do something because I'm right. You're wrong if you got a problem and you don't go to your brother or sister. I don't care what you think. You're wrong. The scriptures tells us, Christ says, I don't care what the excuse is. And again, when a brother come or sister come to me about somebody else, I don't care how close they are to me. I'll say, listen, hey, have you talked to that person? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'll put distractions up and everything. What we going to do? I'm not dealing with it because I don't want to hear. I don't want to have a problem with another person because of another person. That's your issue with him. So we have to learn, even if we hear something that could be that could be you that can make you feel something about another person you love, and you hearing it. You got to realize, hold up, I'm not going to be a part of this here. I'm stepping out of it. Because then the thing will become bigger. And that's why we're having communion on a holy day. Because we should be able to eat this bread and drink this wine knowing that we don't have an issue with no one. And I'm glad, listen, that's why I'm glad if I got an issue with somebody, I tell them. I can eat this bread and enjoy it. You understand? I can drink this wine and I can drink 3-4 cups of it and know that, listen, I told my brother or my sister what the issue was. Nobody here that I've had an issue with can say that I didn't come to you and say, I got a problem. Period. So I can eat this bread and drink this wine. You understand? But heresies come in when people eat this bread and drink this wine like Judas did and know in their heart they betrayed their brother. That they really hate their brother. They really got a problem with their brother. He's sitting there eating and drinking with Christ, knowing that he just sat with the Pharisees to plan them taking Christ. And he come right to the meal like everything is good after taking 30 pieces. Over some filthy money. That's nothing. That's why he threw the silver away. He didn't even want the silver. Money is nothing. Brotherhood is everything. That's what it comes down to. Money is only good if you can help your brother. And I'm putting that out there too. Money is nothing. Okay? It comes and it goes. I've been low with nothing. I've had something. And nothing have changed what I am because I see money for what it is. The more money I get, the more I give it away. Period. And I'm putting it out there so that we can understand as brethren in this room that our lives as brethren and sisters is more important than finances. Let's read it.
Verse 20. When ye come together, therefore, into one place, this is not to eat the Lord's Supper.
Go ahead.
For in eating, everyone taketh before other his own supper, and one is hungry, and another is drunken. What? Have ye not houses to eat and drink in? Or despise ye the church of the Most High? And shame them that have not? What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you in this? I praise you not. For I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yeshua, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, Take, eat, this is my body.
Hold up, let's wait till they get in. Finish reading, and then we'll eat and drink on the scriptures that Christ was speaking. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me.
So we do from holy day to holy day when we feast. We're doing it in remembrance of Christ. It's not just a get together to eat and feel good about some food that tastes good. We're eating and drinking, and we're remembering what was going on at that table. when Christ was betrayed. Read.
25. After the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as ye drink it in remembrance of me.
Go ahead.
For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world.
That we shall not be condemned with the world. Why? Because in the world you can have a problem and not go to people and not deal with your issues. You can talk about people behind their back and slander them and all that and not have to deal with it. Let's go to the bread and wine in Matthew's.
St. Matthew chapter 26, verse 17. Now the day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Yeshua, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? And he said, Go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, The master saith, My time is at hand.
Let's go straight to it, the bread and wine.
Yes, sir. Verse 25.
Yes.
Verse 25. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? He said unto him, Thou hast said. And as they were eating, Yeshua took bread and blessed it, and brake it, and gave it to the disciples, and said, Take, eat, this is my body. Verse 17. And he took the cup and gave thanks, and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it. Verse 28. For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth. That's Lawya. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of the fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. And when they had sung in hymn, they went unto the Mount of Olives.
And when they sung in hymn, they went to the Mount of Olives. To show you that, yeah, they were singing and celebrating on Passover and on the holy days. And we're going to sing and celebrate tonight. Right? So, with that,